Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Seven Nights, Part 2. In this video, I'm just going to talk about a couple of things. One, where do I spend my rubies at? Maybe you might find a few things that may be of interest to you. And two, my overall thoughts on the mid-game now that I've, at least completed the story and done it on normal. So we're going to go into that just to, just have something to talk about. So let's get right into it. All right, so we're going to start with the obvious. Most people should be spending their rubies on the hero banners. I will give you a little bit of a warning. The banner that always has a legendary plus on it, the special summon one, please understand that legendary plus characters are at a very, very low rate. Do not expect to get the character. If you do, consider yourself fortunate. I learned my lesson from the cassette manner when she was the legendary plus. I remember spending well over 20,000 rubies and not getting her. Not only did I not get her, but I didn't get any other legendary plus either. But I did get a few other legendaries, just not any of the legendary pluses. So just understand that if you're going to be really, really wanting a character, don't put your hopes and dreams on this banner. If you want to push for it, that's fine. But just be aware that the rates are not so great for characters of that caliber. I will also say that if you end up pulling just regular legendaries, those are good enough to get you through content as long as you build them up, level up their skills, get good equipment, and you should be fine. Your average legendary plus character is just going to go above and beyond, especially if you care about PvP. Legendary pluses feel like they're almost a must. Like characters like Rudy, characters like Shane, Cassette, like all of the legendary plus characters are definitely good for PvP, and of course, it'll make your story and other content raid clears a lot easier. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. What I do recommend though is the raid up summon where you can actually change who the raid up is. So currently we have the Velvet and Yeon Hee. Now these banners actually do give you these characters fairly easily. The what I've noticed is if I do the pity, once I get whatever the legendary is, if I go ahead and go through again to spin rubies, I'll actually get the one of the legends sooner. So it's like every other time I get a legend, I have to pity, which is fine. I'm not really upset about that. But yeah, I think this is definitely what you want to go for if you want something guaranteed, assuming that you like the characters that are on the banner. If you don't particularly care for the characters that are on the banner and you don't want to chase a legendary plus, I would highly recommend just saving your rubies because they're going to be releasing a lot of characters. This game is still fresh and brand new, and they're going to be releasing some pretty, really good characters. So don't feel bad if you miss out. Don't feel like you have to rush and get a character just for the sake of having them, especially if you're not interested. If there's nothing you want, just save. They also have this banner. Now, this one you have to have moonstones, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and these basically come from either event rewards or you can purchase them. I don't know nothing about this banner because I've never really, saved up enough to really do anything with it. I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, so if anyone who's actually spent moonstones, please let me know. But I want to believe that by spending runestones, your rate is going to be much higher for getting a legendary plus. I'm going to assume it's not guaranteed, but I assume that, it will, at the very least, up your chances than, say, the regular special banner. So that's just my assumption only because moonstones are kind of rare to get. So I believe that that's probably going to be the case. Now, what I will kind of caution you on is I don't think it's worth spending rubies on either the pet summons or the equipment summons. The reason I feel this way is honestly the characters matter a bit more. And as far as like pets, what I would recommend doing, and I haven't, gotten hard on this yet, but you can fuse pets shards and potentially get a higher rated pet. So if you set up enough shards and just go to where you can basically fuse them, I think that's probably going to be the easiest way to get one. Or there is a shop, I'm not sure if it's in the Guild War, or not Guild War, but just the Guild in general. I believe you can get a pet there. It's going to cost a lot, so it'll be a while before you can do that. But that's another way you can do it without having to depend on spending your rubies. I just wouldn't do it. And as far as equipment are concerned, I've noticed in this game that getting legendary equipment off of free tickets has actually been good, at least for me. I've been fortunate enough to get a couple of legendary equipment just on the free tickets that I've gotten. And you can also potentially get legendary gear in events and stuff. So, and then, of course, if you can get to at least, I think, the sixth tier and a lot of your raids, you can get shards that you grind so you can literally craft the legendary gear. So I just don't feel like spending your rubies is really necessary for these. Like I said, if you get like regular free tickets, yeah, feel free to drop them. That's what they're there for. But I personally don't think spending rubies on the equipment or the pet summon is necessary at all. So I just kind of want to caution you there. Another thing that I would recommend, this is on the Soul Stone shop. If you go to legendaries, whatever the featured legendary units are for the current banner, not only can you use, the legendary Soul Stones to get a particular shard, but you can also spend rubies as well to get so that you can potentially, get them high enough to where you can extend their level cap. So this is something I didn't know at first. A friend of mine was kind of telling me about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, you can, and I've already bought it, so you can't see it here. But notice that where Miss Velvet is, there's two options. One that says Soul Stones and one that says Sold Out. The one that's sold out is the one where I actually spent rubies. I believe it's 300 per shard. So that's a way if you have a character that you want to level up pretty quickly, definitely, take advantage of using rubies to do that. I mean, at least it's a guarantee and you can get them leveled up faster. I like that. So you can basically double up by, using the legendary soul stones plus rubies to just get more souls for a while. Now, the rubies are very limited, meaning that I believe you can only spend rubies so many times before you're stuck having to just use legendary soul stones, but that's fine. Every little extra help is good as far as I'm concerned. But this is definitely something that I didn't figure out for a little while that's very, very beneficial. I didn't take advantage of this on the first banner because I just didn't notice. But yeah, definitely something I would recommend as far as spending rubies. Just make a character stronger. Here's another little quick shout out where you can do rubies. Now, there's only one instance where I would consider spending rubies on the mole area. There are random occasions where you can get legendary gear for 2,000 rubies. Now, the first time I saw it, I actually ignored it and I kind of regret it. I didn't realize how much of a grind it could be to craft legendary equipment. So I kind of wish I had just spent the 2K I had on it. So that was kind of my bad. But if you're looking for a way to potentially get a free, well, not really free, but get one pretty easily, there are rare occasions where this mole here will actually have it. Now, it'll either cost you 2,000 rubies or it'll cost you like 1 or 2 million gold. But either way, I mean, I think that's pretty good for getting legendary equipments. They're going to be absolutely necessary for helping you clear, some late game content. Because again, I've mentioned in my previous video how this game can be a bit challenging in the beginning, especially if you don't have a lot of the good stuff, like legendary characters, legendary equipment, stuff like that. So if you're struggling and you happen to be in the shop and you see a legendary item, especially if it's a weapon, like weapons will definitely take you a long way. They're going to typically cost you more than legendary equipment or legendary armor or helmets or whatever. Weapons are definitely more expensive because that's really where you get your true power from, or the actual offensive things that you can get from it. But yeah, this is a pretty good shout out. Again, it's going to be random. It's going to be a matter of luck, but it's 100% worth it. And another little shout out, and this is kind of a minor shout out, but I do want to bring this up. Uh, I've been invited to a party. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and do this raid fight. Why not? I forget that sometimes I get invited to play stuff, so why not? So tier 1, so this should be easy. The Queen's Palace, sure, we'll do this. I wasn't planning on doing gameplay, but whatever. Someone wants to invite me while I'm recording. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to take advantage of it. It's actually difficult sometimes to get a party together So I'll take all the invites I can get. So I'm definitely just going to leave this in. I don't care. But after the fight, we'll continue. But I want you to see this anyway. Why not? Let's get some gameplay. I'll leave it on auto. I'm not even going to move around at all. I mean, it's only a tier 1, so it should be easy to beat. I'm barely taking any damage, to be perfectly honest. And as you can tell, my character is doing the absolute most damage right now. Poor Eileen's about to die, though. It's okay. Honestly, I could solo a tier 1. Just like many of you probably can, too, if you built up a good DPS. Oh, there goes Eileen. She's gone. Who knows, if a certain something happens, I can give you guys a quick little tip for those who don't know any better. Although the game teaches you, so you should know. But there you go. So I died before I could do it. But basically, there's a little meter that you can press if you get it. I'd recommend waiting until it's close to full. You press the button if you have the right character, and it'll basically suppress it. So there you go. So that was cool. I got to show you a little bit of a raid. Not bad at all. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to what we were discussing here. All right, so as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, no, I don't mind. I actually like party invites. But anyway, the Mastery is another place that you can spend rubies that can help your account. Now, I'm not doing it on my current playthrough of this game only because I know for sure that I'm playing this game long term, so I just don't want to spend the rubies if I don't have to. But if I wanted to go to, the next tier, I would have to pay 2,000 rubies. And honestly, I just don't want to spend that much just to get a little bit of a boost. I'm not going to say that it's not worth it. In the original Seven Nights, I actually did spend a lot of rubies to get ahead on the mastery. And I want to say that it was probably worth it. You know what I mean? But now that I know that I'm going to be, dedicated to play this long term, I just don't see the need for me to spend rubies. But for those of you that are unsure if you're going to play long term and you want to try to get through content, as fast as you can. If you happen to have extra rubies you want to spend and you don't want to like rely on, gotcha pulls or whatever, this is not a bad area to use it to just build up your account in general. I see nothing wrong with it if that's where you want to go. Again, this is one of those things that it just depends on how you feel about it. Like, it's not a must, but I will say from experience from the previous game that it is worth it for sure. So overall, that's pretty much how I feel about Ruby. That's kind of my thoughts on where I would recommend spending rubies, or at least consider at the very, because in all honesty, there are other places you can spend rubies. I just don't think it's worth it, which is why there are a couple of things I probably could have brought up, but it's just not even worth paying attention to. But other than that, I mean, the game I'm actually enjoying. I'm at the point right now where I have completed the story mode on normal as well, including the new story that just came out featuring Rudy and, the Temple of Light or whatever it's called. So I think that the fact that they're going to be slowly building the story is always a good thing. It kind of gives players a reason to stick around. So right now, I'm just at the point to where I'm just going to try to beat hard mode. Once you get far enough in hard mode, I hear that it's really easy to get either legendary gear or legendary shards to craft gear. One of the two. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been tested it myself because I'm not quite there yet. But I think that that's going to be kind of my next step here. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to make my account stronger, build up my favorite characters, and once I'm done, building my favorite characters, I will then just, wait for new content to come out, participate in raids just to kind of help, clear whatever raid dungeons people need help with, and go from there. So I'm still enjoying the game. Like I said, I enjoy the story. I'm already kind of, pot committed to, the lore and everything because I'm just a huge fan of it, Seven Nights in general. But yeah, I'm basically sticking around for the story, sticking around for new content, and just building up my favorite characters, And that's really what it boils down to. So the game is still in its infancy, right? So I'm not expecting a whole lot. I think what we have for right now is okay. You know what I mean? I'm not super upset about anything. About the only thing that I've complained about so far, which was on my previous video, with just the fact that, they try to pop you up with, hey, buy this every time you have a milestone. But other than that, I mean, the game has actually been a lot of fun. I've also been playing on PC, which I haven't played on PC in over a decade because I used to play like RTS games back in the day. But now that I have, a new laptop, I'm actually going to be playing this game specifically more on the laptop. Not when I'm recording, but just kind of when I'm playing casually on the weekends. I'm going to be doing this. And the laptop, or playing on PC is fine. One thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if I should say this, is I don't want, that marble to catch on and change it, but I've noticed that you don't get as many pop-up ads. You know how, like, you log in on mobile, and as soon as you log in, it pops, like, a few things, and then you have to click don't show it again. Well, apparently on the PC client, it doesn't do that. It shows you, like, the first screen, but that's about it, and you can, like, get down to business, which, I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, the way PCs, its support seems decent. There's a couple of things that you can't do, but they're minor things. But you can still play the game as much as you need to on PC. It looks decent, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely done with that. It feels a lot better to play on PC than on a phone because I'm not having to constantly look down at my phone or have to stand up my phone somewhere so that I'm not hurting my neck. Just playing on PC is just a lot better. But either way, the game's still fun. I'm going to keep playing, and I may even do some videos here and there if I have another topic to discuss. If there's something that you want me to talk about, you may want my opinion or my thoughts on, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to do a separate video on specific topics. I don't know how often I'll be making videos just because I just don't know really what I want to do content for in terms of, this game. But like I said, I'm open to suggestions, and then we'll see what happens in the future. Until next time, be kind and grind. Later.